What's up, guys? MrVerry, aka Adronus here, and this video is the Emperor's Lair, so I call it, which houses Ghastly dragons, Undead dragons, and Draken Abominations. So all of these creatures are either weak, the Abominations and the Ghastlys, or neutral, the Undead Dragons, to energy damage. So I will be using my Wand of Defiance for the duration of this, as well as putting my Robe of the Underworld and Koshi's Ancient Amulet in order to reduce death damage by around 20%, and using energy walls in order to make the creatures move around us properly, and using my energy rings while fighting Ghastly dragons, because Ghastly dragons can deal well over my full HP, which is at this point when this video was recorded 1,220, and they can deal up to like 1.8k damage in one hit. So you have to be careful. Their waves are very vicious. They also shoot SDs, and they have great like life drain balls, a variety of attacks. I'll be naming them while we're actually fighting them. So unfortunately, we didn't really get much loot this hunt. The loot that you see in my backpack already was stuff that I looted from an earlier hunt, and that's why I'm dragging some of it up so that I can make room for our loot as well as not confuse our loot. And I have a returning guest, and that's Dill, my buddy Dylan. And he's a 239 paladin who is a great help, and it's really nice to hunt with a higher level paladin being a mage, because he's got the health to take some of the hits from some of these creatures that I just can't. So you see I throw my energy ring on, as here is the first Undead. And I put an energy wall there, which is actually a really nice place because it works with the environment. You can see that the Undead is now going to have to walk around not only the wall, but the like yellow liquid. I forget what that is. Maybe it's like sulfur, I want to say. But so you can see the Undead is pretty nasty. They run it. That one didn't do too crazy of attacks, but they run at low red, and while they run, they tend to spam waves back. So on the bottom southeast side here, there's a bunch of Undeads, and we're gonna... This is actually not the best spot to put a wall. It would have been a little better to put it sideways, because with this, you're more susceptible to taking wave attacks. And you can see he just used a life drain wave, and before that he used a blood ball on Dylan. And that's his death wave. And they drop unholy bones and hardened bones very frequently. They also drop a variety of other items pretty frequently too, but unfortunately we really didn't see much. I was hoping that we would loot like a divine plate, or at least like a royal helmet or something. But we only end up getting like a dragon bone staff, and I think that's about it from the Undeads. The Ghastlys and the... Ooh, you can see Dylan just is getting destroyed right there. That was a very vicious combo on him. But yeah, the Ghastlys and the Draken Abominations ended up dropping not like a great amount of loot, but at least we got some stuff. So there's the first hardened bone and some more unholy bones. And they also drop assassin stars like really often, and usually they drop 5. So that's pretty nice as well. I actually really hate the fact that I have to use my energy rings when fighting undead dragons because it is just such a waste of mana. And whenever you take damage with an energy ring on, that mana does not get added to your magic level, folks. Instead, you just deplete it. But in this case, it's completely necessary, as I said, because if I wasn't using it, I would be making myself very susceptible to be killed in one hit, even by the undead. And I accidentally blocked Dylan off there, but he's just going to kind of tank it because we crush abominations pretty fast together. And this isn't a live commentary. As I've said previously, I don't like to do live commentaries while I'm hunting with someone else because I'm usually talking to them on my headset, or if I'm not, if I am just talking to them in the Tibia client, it's still much easier for me to focus on talking to them without having to do a commentary at the same time. So, luckily, with how he's got him, I was able to get a good E-wave in, and I brought lots of thunderstorms so that I could do AoE damage, while he is too. He's using mass sand, and I'm using my energy wave once it becomes available, as well as my thunderstorms. Now, Draken Abominations actually, out of everything here, surprisingly, drop the best item. They can drop Shields of Corruption, which are worth at least 3 mil. They drop Snake God's Wrist Guards, which are worth around 200 to 300k. At least they were when I had it. I paid like 250 for mine when I used to have one. And I get targeted by the Ghastlys, so I start to run it. And I think yep, I do continue to run. But yeah, you can see the immense damage that we deal together. It's very nice. And like I've said in my previous videos, Ghastlys are usually pretty nice for loot. They even if you don't get a lot of rares, you're gonna leave with a lot of small emeralds. And on this hunt, we ended up leaving with like 36 small emeralds, I think. And right to the east here, there's 2 abominations. And the death blobs are not creatures that spawn here. The abominations summon 2 death blobs, which can be used to block you up. And they make you drunk, so it's kind of like a combined effort to slow you down. They use that fire wave, and right here an undead drag comes, so I throw my energy ring on so as to prevent taking significant damage. And I also put an E-wall up because Dill is getting slammed. And it's a little bit better to have the E-wall in this manner. And over to the west, I believe, is another undead. Yes, it is. So right now we have 2 undead dragons on us, which is a little scary, honestly. But we deplete this undead's health quite quickly, so not too shabby. And I'm not going to put a commentary for the entirety of this video. I'm going to keep talking and doing this commentary until we do at least 1 loop around the hunting area, and I think that takes us around 20 to 30 minutes. And then the rest of the video is viewable if you guys want to watch it. Go ahead. That's just showing the rest of our, not the rest of our hunt, but a good portion of it. We were actually here for like an hour and a half or something, and this video is just under an hour. So you can see our loot, which, like I said, was kind of shitty, but and you can see some crazy situations. I don't know if I'm going to be doing a commentary during some of them, but like even that undead having two undeads on you at the same time, that was a little rough. We were a little scared. Two undeads could one shot Dylan in with ease, and two undeads would rip through my mana shield very quickly as well. So, uh, there's the two abominations. There's one right now, and we throw up the E-walls. He threw up those ones, and you can tell which ones are his because they're yellow due to the new PvP system that Sipsoft implemented, and mine are regular colored. But I prefer that Dylan throw up the energy walls, even though I do it a lot because, you know, he is blocking and taking damage, and sometimes might he's distracted with healing and doing what he needs to, and I go ahead and put up the wall to make sure that he's safe and I'm safe. And the reason that I prefer that he put up the wall is so that, like, for instance, when we're taking on an undead dragon, I have to use Mana Shield, which I don't use Utamo Vita because that would be very wasteful considering I only need Mana Shield for the undeads. But I do use energy rings, and when fighting the undead, it's a real pain in the ass to uh, get hit by my own energy because it wastes that much more mana. But right now we have two Ghastlys on us, and the way we have our energy walls set up, it's very convenient. It makes them walk quite a bit. And I'm using thunderstorms in order to deal damage to both of them. And I let off an E-wave there, which nails both of them. Decently placed E-wave. And we continue to take down this Ghastly. And some more small emeralds. I got a Terra Hood out of one of the abominations of the two that we were just fighting. And we've explored, as of this spot right here, we've explored about 50% of the cave, close. Because this is the south side of the cave, and then of course there's the north side of the cave, which we will be doing here shortly. And you can see the undead dragon in the northeast there. He was just yelling, "I sense life." And I think I said something funny to Dylan while we were hunting about that, but I'm also using my gill Google and my gill legs to give me some protection to earth damage, because you take poison damage a lot here, and I believe undead dragons have some poison attacks as well. And for the record, people, poison and earth are kind of like interchangeable terms. Back in the day when there was only three elements, well, three magic elements, which was fire, energy, and poison, poison was turned into earth damage when ice and other damages were introduced, like holy and stuff. And we'd take out that undead, and another one comes from the north. So I keep my E-ring on in order to keep my mana shield up. And I'm also cursed, which I believe is from the last undead. I'm pretty sure they can curse you too. I know that Ghastlys have the worst curse in the game. as far as regular spawning creatures, and I can't really put any bosses to mind that have really nasty curse damage, so. And there's the 5 Assassin Stars, and I put them on the ground so that Dylan can pick them up and utilize them if he so chooses. So you can see we've 15 minutes in, we've already killed just about the entire south side of the cave, and there's barely any loot. We've gotten a Terra hood, and the hunt continues on like this. I mean, we do end up getting a little more loot, but we wasted a lot here, and we were hoping to actually make money because this isn't fantastic experience, but there is potential to make good money here. And this is a very, very rough part. I tell Dylan not to hit the Undead, and I think he pulls it through, I'm not sure. And the Undead is using its bomb attacks on us, so I stand in the corner in order to hopefully take less damage. And another Ghastly spawns while we were in that southwest corner, and Dylan put the Undead across the energy wall, but then I used Electrify on it, not knowing that that was his plan, so it's taking consistent damage and can come through. And right here, I'm very nervous. I'm losing mana quickly, and I was kind of freaking out a little and telling Dylan that he needed to get some of these fucking creatures on him, because otherwise it was going to be curtains for me. And we focus on the Abomination to get him out of the way immediately. We did end up looting a Drakenata out of the last Abomination, not the one we just killed, but the one before that, yeah. Pretty sure it was out of the Abomination. It might have been out of a Ghastly. I think Ghastlys, I don't think Abominations drop it actually, so it must have been out of a Ghastly. So, that was a mistake, guys. And right now we have both a Ghastly and an Undead on us, which is a pretty nasty combo, but we're feeling much better than we were when we had, all 3 creatures that spawn here on us. So, we finish off the Undead, and I take some of the mana pots out of it and use them on myself as I kinda need them. And here's the only substantial loot we get from an Undead, which is a Dragon Bone Staff, which is pretty disappointing considering on how powerful Undeads are. We were really hoping that we would get some decent shit and make some money, but it didn't work out that way. So after this little fiasco, we continue on. And all the portals that you see around here, except for the portal where we came in, are chambers to fight different varieties of the Emperor. Like there's the, I think there's Wrath of the Emperor, there's Fury of the Emperor, and I believe they're just different Ghastly Dragon bosses that have a shitload of health, huge amount of health, and you have a time limit on them. If you don't defeat them within the time limit, they either respawn or you get kicked out of the room. I forget. I think they respawn though. And this is one of the later parts in the Wrath of the Emperor quest, for those of you who are curious, and you need to complete a certain amount of missions in the Wrath of the Emperor quest just to get access to this area. So just a single Abomination. And now going to loot the Ghastly, and I throw the spirit pots over to Dylan as he is a paladin. And I switched out my Yalahari mask for the Gilgoogle because they have the same armor and magic level, but the Gilgoogle gives you earth protection and fire weakness. And I noticed that the Draken Abomination's fire waves were hitting me really hard, so I figured I would take off one piece and keep one on, so I still have poison resistance when the Ghastlys use earth attacks. And we are going to be combing the north side now. You can see we're heading there. And that's an undead dragon, I can tell by the life drain wave. And he's trying to target us, but I think he's out of range right now. But that'll change shortly. And I give Dylan one of my dwarven rings because he didn't have any on him, and those are essential for creatures that make you drunk. I mean, not having a dwarven ring when you're fighting creatures that make you drunk can be the reason you die. Because it's a little difficult to run away from a mob when you can't control which way you're moving, which is what drunkenness does to you on Tibia. And so this undead's running away now, and we finish him off. Like I said, they drop hardened bones quite frequently. I mean, it was nice to get several of those, but unfortunately they're really not worth much, and I believe they've decreased in value over time. And they are usually gotten from bone beasts, which you can skin off them, and they rarely drop it as well. And before summons would disappear like they do now, it was awesome when you were fighting liches, because if you were dropping their bone beasts, or when you finally killed the lich and the bone beast died, you could skin the summons, and it was nice to get that extra loot from doing so. So you can see we're in the northeast corner of the cave now, and we're going to sweep to the west. And that Ghastly tries to come through, so I lay down 2 E-walls as fast as possible in order to block him off. At one point, I lay down like an E-wall perimeter. I lay down like 3 E-walls, and it was a good thing I did, because I believe there was an undead dragon coming to us while we were fighting 2 other creatures. And Dylan is just tanking the Ghastly. As a rule of thumb for all the creatures here, you want to stay diagonal, because all the creatures here either use wave attacks or, you know, something else. And I end up throwing all my old loot. I was killing some brimstone bugs and some soul eaters into my other backpack to make room for our loot. And we get another undead drag. And I didn't mean to block Dylan off there. I was just trying to set an E-wall properly. And I believe Dylan gets comboed for like 1,000 damage on this one. If it's not this one, it's one of them. And these stingy undeads, we get a single black pearl and a great health potion. And he only used one of those, so I was trying to throw the rest to him. And that's two Ghastlys, and I believe an Undead. So here's where I set up the E-wall perimeter. And you can see that's a, yup, there is an Undead down there. That's a massive amount of energy walls. And we stay to the north in order to avoid luring the Undead or getting hit by its balls or waves. No one likes Undead balls. No one. And you can see I'm using my thunderstorms over and over in order to deal damage to all of them. And you see it drops a Zowan item, but unfortunately it is a Zowan halberd, which is absolutely fucking useless. I believe it only sells for 500 gold. It's the worst Zowan item, and the one that I never want to see. And I accidentally throw an E-wall there because I thought my thunderstorms were in. And I'm trying to use my thunderstorms on Dylan, but since the new update, it wouldn't allow me, and I was getting confused as shit. I was like, why aren't my thunderstorms going off? But now I know. Because this was our first team hunt since the new update. And of course, McAfee comes up. And the Undead starts to pursue us, so I get my energy ring on. And we throw down E-walls literally at the exact same time. And I electrify Undead dragons so they can take continuous energy damage while we're fighting them. If he used Holy Flash too, that would be like an extra 40 something, about 50 damage, an extra 50 damage every turn. And I E-wave him so that we don't have to chase it for too long and get more stuff on us. And in this video, I'm very close to level 216, which I actually get in the next video. I don't think I get it while I'm recording. I think I get it while we're hunting after I stop recording. And the next video will be the Arcanum, which is personally one of my favorite areas. I really like it. I like all the diabolic imps. There's warlocks, hands of cursed fate, liches. There's brain deaths later on, undead dragons later on, and there's demons even in the first section, which is where we mainly hunt. And the reason that we mainly hunt there and that we didn't explore the entirety is because if we had to go back through the same way we went, which we would have had to take out rooms that had a hand of cursed fate and like 4 or 5 diabolic imps. And diabolic imps can each deal around 450 damage on their own, plus the hand, which can take like 1,100 damage and steal 1,000 mana all in one turn. That would just be way too crazy for just the two of us. And while we can handle it, while we have time to lure them one at a time, it's wouldn't have been worth doing uh, when they're all grouped up. There's too high of a chance that either of us could die. And we spam E-walls in order to trap the Abomination so that we can get the Undead a little later and separate him from us. But I've said just about everything I want to say in this video, and I knew I said that I was going to commentate for the majority of the room, but we loop around a little bit later, and we're going to be killing creatures for another 28 minutes. So, thanks for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed, and please continue to watch if you are enjoying this video. And if you did enjoy this video, like it, and if you want to leave me feedback, leave me a comment. I try to respond to all comments, but it's not so easy all the time, and I've been focusing on my projects more than anything, and also YouTube's kind of funky. It doesn't always notify me when I get new comments. But yes, please, comments are awesome. I always appreciate feedback. And if you like the content I produce and you haven't subscribed, subscribe. There will be a lot more of it to come. So once again, thanks for watching, and I hope you've enjoyed.